because of the understandable interest in the case that developed over the weekend, we simply wanted to give you an update. Director Armstrong and MPD has been pushing out information to you. He and I have been in almost constant contact overnight, and then this morning. Again, for those who are wondering why does this case get so much attention, I think everybody understands, and properly so, that it's just reprehensible, that it damages our community, not to mention the harm that was done to the victims. It cast our city in a horribly bad light, and we want to make it clear that we're not going to tolerate it. I'm in the process. I want to talk with the victims personally. I extended my apologies yesterday. As I advised you yesterday, I have spoken personally with the owners and operators of the CC Pizza, the owners of the property there, and also the Kroger management. Director Armstrong has followed up. He will get into detail on that, on what we're discussing with them. What I'm going to do is right now allow Director Armstrong to give you an update. Then I'd like to just address the question. I've had a number of questions and emails, social media about curfew and some other things. So, but right now, let Director Armstrong give you an update on the investigation. I'll allow him to handle that exclusively.
Thank you, Mayor. As you all know, we do have a 15-year-old in custody, and that 15-year-old has been charged with aggravated assault, aggravated riot, acting in concert with aggravated assault. Since his arrest, we have located 3 additional juveniles. They are in our custody at this time. Charges are forthcoming. They have not been charged at this time, but we do expect to be charging them sometime a little bit later this afternoon. I am pleased to say that those 3 young men are in custody because 2 parents did the right thing. 2 parents contacted us and notified us that they felt that their kids had to party in this. One other thing that I would like to point out is that I know this has a lot of racial undertones. I've gotten phone calls, I'm sure the mayor has. We acknowledge that the majority of the suspects or the majority of the juveniles involved in this were African American, but you have to also understand that there was an African American victim in this as well as a non-African American male. So there will not, at this point, we don't have any sufficient enough evidence to investigate this as a hate crime. I've got a significant amount of phone calls asking, are you all going to investigate this as a hate crime? The 15-year-old that we have in custody currently has been held in juvenile court. His mother has been charged in the past with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. He has not been currently enrolled in school this year.
He's 15 years old.
At the age of 15, he has not been enrolled in school this year. And he has pending charges for drug possession as well as firearm possession. Those charges will be held at a later date.
We'll take questions. I wanted to come back in after Director Armstrong to underscore the need of some of the things that were talked about in the forum the other night. Truancy. Here's a young man, 15 years old, not even, according to the information we have, not even enrolled. Something is falling through the cracks there, and this is why we'll be having another one of the forums coming up real soon on how do we deal with issues such as that, so that they won't get to the level where Director Armstrong has to deal with them. Had this been dealt with perhaps as a truancy matter, we probably wouldn't be standing here as an aggravated assault and rioting charge. It also points out what we've been focusing on a long, long time, that people who get caught in our streets with illegal weapons, I don't care how young you are, in our opinion, when you put a gun in your hand, you're acting like a grown person. And here's this incident. The individual, I won't name the person, but again, was out on firearm charges at the very time this occurred. I've talked with the General Wyrick. We have a program which we'll be talking about that is working with respect to treating those who get picked up on gun charges much more severely in terms of pretrial release than we have been doing in the past. I've gotten a number of calls about a curfew. Why don't you pass a curfew? Well, we do have a curfew in the city of Memphis, but quite frankly, we need to examine it and see if it is as stringent as it should be. This incident occurred around 9 o'clock, so that curfew would not have prevented this. So before we start just playing to the crowds and saying we're going to do a curfew, don't throw something out there that sounds good until you're sure it's going to work, because in this instance, it would not have worked. The second thing about a curfew is that if you're going to enforce it, you're going to have a lot of contact, and let's just be honest, it will be with minority individuals. Well, there are certain laws that we have to comply with respect to disproportionate minority contact. So we want to make sure that if we go to a rigidly enforced curfew, that we have some means of dealing with the children as opposed to, all right, take them to court, put them into the system, come up with alternative services, centers where they will be taken as opposed to taken into court. So this is why we're having to review all of that. First of all, would a curfew enforcement process with the law as presently drafted, would it be effective? That's the first question. And if you modify it or go ahead and enforce it as is, what are you going to do with the many children who will be picked up? So those are the two questions that we have the legal folks answering.